Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mist Valley Entertainment News. My name is Dread, and welcome to your weekly or maybe daily Starfield headshake. Because Starfield, you're welcome. Hey, if you like the content, please don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, comment on the video, and like the video. All that good stuff. I appreciate you all so much. Your views mean the world to me. Thank you all so much. Feel free to get involved in the conversations. Just be respectful. All right. Sometimes I'm not respectful of Starfield. I know it. It's because Starfield is a disrespectful slap into the face of 99.9% of gamers. Let's see what Mr. Matty Plays has to say about the sad state of Starfield. Once again, this is my reaction to Mr. Matty Plays video. The original video by Mr. Matty Plays is going to be linked down below. Feel free, after you've watched my wonderful video, to go back and click on the link and view Mr. Matty Plays video and give him a little like and a thumbs up and a little cuddle. Whatever. Whoa. Whatever. Sorry. I got all excited about the Starfield. All right, moving on. Let's see what Mr. Matty Plays has to say.
I think it's fair to say I've kept the spirit of positivity.
That's not fair at all, Matty. You take that back. Starfield sucks, and you know it. Wait, you didn't say anything about Starfield yet. Okay. Never mind. I jumped the gun.
I think it's fair to say I've kept the spirit of positivity surrounding Starfield. I don't do it because I feel I have to, but because I genuinely enjoyed the game.
Starfield. Yes, many people enjoy the game. A great percentage of gamers enjoy the game? No. A great percentage of people who've tried the game enjoy the game? No. A great percentage of people who've tried the game still play the game and enjoy it? No. But yet many, as in more than one or two, people do enjoy Starfield. I will give you that. You're welcome.
Many people misinterpret that as me trying to be the glass half full guy when I'm just looking at it as it is, as I enjoyed that glass of water, if you will.
Hey, how dare you do that? I'll put mine right over top of yours. How dare you?
And so I had fun with Starfield, and I've never been afraid to say that, but I also had a lot of optimism for Starfield's future. You know, I've approached it like a live service product, for better, for worse.
Loading screen.
That's how I've looked at it. Bethesda's committed to years of updates.
He's got the first half minute of his video, he's got a Starfield loading screen. Oh my god.
And I know this may be a video that could eventually age like milk, but I have to talk about it as it is now as we approach the half-year mark, which is crazy since Starfield.
I want me some aged milk now.
Release. We just made a video last week talking about Starfield 5 months later, which many people in the comments were surprised, going, "What? Really?"
But by the way, this right here reminds me of a darker, gloomier Outer Worlds setting. I think this looks like a rip-off of the Outer Worlds. Just Outer Worlds would have more color in it.
People in the comments were surprised, going, "What? Really?" And also many people playing games since Starfield have said that it feels like Starfield has aged considerably already, which is not a good sign. But other people's opinions aside, what I want...
I mean, it's pretty bad when people are saying your game has aged after 6 months, when your game came out, it looked like it was 15 years old. That's Starfield. And that's Bethesda.
What I want to talk about today is the sad state I found Starfield in. As someone who enjoys the game, mind you, I know this could easily get spun into a super negative piece.
Look at those lifelike people. Look at those lifelike people.
Be critical, but I'm looking at it as a fan who wants to go back and enjoy new things Bethesda's adding, and the pace at which updates are coming out, I think is fine. What's being added when you look at what was initially promised, which I'll bring up here. We've been reading all your feedback. We're going to start launching these new features, new ways to travel.
We're excited to start launching these new features. Now, I'm pretty sure if you go back to one of my earlier videos, you're going to find me commenting on this and talking about the fact that People are thinking these features are coming out, and we're predicting they're coming out years down the road, if friggin' ever. We're excited to start launching these new features. They're lying because 6 months later, not one of these features are out. Zero, like little boobies, like zeros, like people wearing glasses. Not that people wear glasses are zeros, but I'm saying not one of these features that they swore after your feedback. We're excited to start launching these features. Oh, they should have said we're apprehensive to actually work on any of this shit you want because we don't know how to effing do it. We might get to it sometime, maybe, if we just fluke out and luck into figuring this out. We have no clue. We are working with technology 15 years in the past. We have not had any training. We don't know how to use anything that's available today. We're completely useless because we're Bethesda. That's what they should have said, because that's actually what they meant. Once again, I am telling people, for the love of God, please understand, never trust one word that comes out of the mouth of anybody associated with Bethesda. Never. It's always a lie. I don't know how I can. Is there any possible way? Could I show up at your house? Give me your address. I will show up at my house. I will ring the doorbell. When you open the door, I will slap you until you get it. I don't know any way to get this point across any better than I've been trying to do for these many months. Bethesda are frauds and liars. They're terrible at what they do, and all they care about is your money, and they can't do shit. Let's just end the video there. No, we gotta listen to Mr. Matty. I'm sorry, Mr. Matty. I've taken over this whole entire thing. I apologize. I'm sure you have some glass half full stuff to tell me. Starfield.
City maps. For those of you who love shipbuilding, we're going to be expanding that with decoration options. New gameplay options is in the second paragraph. You'll be able to alter your difficulty. They talk about things like cargo capacity, carry capacity, ship damage, vendor credits, afflictions. They talk about survival mechanics. And in the bottom paragraph, they mention official mod support coming to Starfield.
They lied. And also, did I mention they lied? None of those things are here. I, myself, and people like me who were saying the same things were correct. You weren't going to get that shit. And if you were going to get it, it's going to be far in the future. You got I don't even know if it was a half-finished game. You got a half-finished game that they don't know what the hell they're doing with after 10 years working on it, 8 years, 10 years, whatever the hell it was. They're completely lost, yet the game is incredibly dated. A terrible company. By the way, all the modding people are excited about the modding coming. Let's be honest here, okay? The modders are not fixing this game. There's a reason the modders have fled and gone back to Skyrim and other games, okay? You cannot fix the boringness and the nothingness of this game. You can't do it. You can't fix the fast travel. You can't get rid of the loading screens. You can't make it so you can land on a planet and travel in a vehicle and travel the whole expanse of the planet. You can't make it so every planet has more things on it. You can't make it so you can fly between planets. You can't fix any of that stuff with mods. Zero. This is a terribly designed game. It's a terrible gaming experience. If you like it, you're entitled to like terrible things. I'm not telling you can't like it, but I'm telling you it's terrible. Modders will not be fixing this, and I almost guarantee when the mods finally comes out, when the mod support finally comes out, it's going to be about 80%. Let's get some creators here making some mods that will go up on the Bethesda Creations page, and you will pay for the mods. As far as what kind of support you'll get for free mods, not much. In fact, every time they update, they'll break all your free mods. So enjoy it. Enjoy giving Bethesda more money for things that don't really matter, for the crappy game that they don't even know how to make. That's my thought on that.
Of Creations early next year. So I have to imagine that a lot of this stuff should be arriving soon. But when
6
I
months.
saw the March update for Starfield, it was one of those moments where I went, what are we doing? Like, why? I hate to sound like that kind of gamer because many people know I don't.
Wait. Did Matty just have a come to Miss Valley Entertainment News moment? Did he finally come onto the light side? Did he finally figure out, oh my word, all the things they promised us 6 months later, none of them are here? Wait. And the wheels begin to squeak a little bit and give a little bit of, they're just budging a little bit, right? Is he having that moment?
Approach my coverage that way, but truly I looked at the Starfield update, which we're going to go through today.
Oh boy.
We'll talk a little bit more about the aftermath, and I went, what are we doing and why is it taking so long? I think part of the reason I feel that way more so is when it was Bethesda Game Studios independently, I thought to myself, okay, it's just them. They are a smaller team compared to most AAA efforts. Therefore, things may move a little slower than we're typically used to. But the market has sped up.
If you want to say some companies out there move slowly, then you compare them to Bethesda, and it's like an ice age. It's that slow. It's like, you ever seen a woolly mammoth frozen in ice? Consider how quickly that mammoth is moving. It's moving faster than Bethesda can move. Probably also learns more about making games than Bethesda knows, that woolly mammoth in ice.
Since between Fallout 4 and Starfield, between Fallout 76 and Starfield, where people demand content sooner. And when you have Microsoft/Xbox at your back and they put everyone in QA on Starfield, and Starfield did have, whether it was critically received well or not, or fan reception was good or not, it did really well. The player base is there, where I thought Bethesda was going to hammer home updates quick. Now, I'm willing to be forgiving of the 2023 window after launch. Patch the game up, right? Figure some things out, create a roadmap, create a plan.
Can't even do that.
Look at the top of the year. They've had some pretty sizable patches. I mean, seriously, take a scroll through the list that you're seeing on.
Sizable patches don't matter if A, you're only fixing maybe 0.5% of all the issues in your game, and B, if you're creating more bugs all the time with your patches. Which, would you believe that's what they're doing?
Screen here. There's a lot in these patches, and I'm not going to poo-poo any of that. But what I will...
At this rate, they will be doing these patches and fixes for the next 47 years before they get to any of their roadmap.
Will say is what's going to draw more people back in or have people give the game a second chance is new features, especially addressing feedback.
Matty, they don't know how to do anything.
The millionth Starfield update with a laundry list of fixes. You know what it reminds me of? And I wouldn't say this game was nearly as broken at launch, but it reminds me of Cyberpunk, where you just see this long list of quest fixes, art fixes, gameplay fixes, but no...
Hey, I enjoyed Cyberpunk. I will give Mr. Matty here props on this one. That's a fair comparison to the fact that, yes, Cyberpunk had a lot of bug fixes to go through. Again, I will say, CD Projekt Red, the developers and the people who are working on Cyberpunk 2077 did not want to release the game when it released. That was the investors demanding they release it now because they wanted to see an investor return on their investment. They screwed the company over. The investors screwed the company over, screwed themselves over. They demanded it and they got it, and the game came out probably a year and a half to 2 years too soon. And I know it was put out on the date they said they were going to put it out, but they had pushed it back several times, and they still needed to. I mean, now that Phantom Liberty's out, the game works, looks, plays great. It didn't play that badly when it launched for me on PC, honestly. I had very little stutters, very little issues with the game, very little bugs of any kind. Yes, the builds didn't work the way they were described to. Some of the perks didn't work at all. There was those kind of things, but I never really even noticed. But it's a fair comparison in that, yes, both games launched too early. But that tells you Bethesda did this second. They didn't do this first. They did this after CD Projekt Red had released Cyberpunk 2077 and got lambasted by the public for it. honest to God, despite the fact that I'm so down on Starfield and Bethesda, Bethesda's kind of got more of a clean break with this one. People have just been like, "Oh, it's Bethesda, it's okay," you know. I don't know, and part of that is they're propped up by the Xbox numbers for sure. People on Game Pass who didn't really have to buy the game maybe are still playing it. That always helps their numbers. But at the same time, you look at their Steam numbers and you look at their Steam review scores from people who bought the game. It tells a telling story. It does. It tells a telling story. It does. Let's move on.
Real new mechanics, if you will. And the reason I'm making this video now is, again,
The
you
mud
go
crab.
back to the promise that was made, which was,
It's a
for
mud
example,
crab.
at the top of the new year, beginning early next year. We're now in March, and we already have the March update, and it's going to be another 6 weeks or so until we get another Starfield update. And yes, you see that Creations is supposed to be launching then. And I think this is very much pivotal to the lifespan of Starfield. I'm not one of those doomers that I've seen videos on.
Okay, you're going to get a slight bump with a bunch of people coming up with piddling mods for this game, but you might get a bump for a month or two, and then it's going to be like, oh god, this is not helping the game at all.
On acting like Starfield's modding community is dead. There's a shit ton of mods already, and
Yeah,
it's only
it's
going
dead.
to grow more
It's
with the
dead.
addition of the modding kit. We'll see how far things can go, but I strongly believe,
Comparatively
like with
speaking,
every
Matty, it's
previous
dead. Wake
Bethesda
up.
Game Studios game, that the
Wake
gaps
up.
will be filled once more by modders. So
Again, you can't fix what's wrong with Starfield. You can't. You cannot. That's why the modders left. They know they can't fix it. There's no point. There's no point for most of these big modders, for most of these important modders, to do anything to the game. They want to add in a different color spacesuit, a different style of space helmet. You want to change the chair that you sit in, maybe the windshield, that you look out of your starship during the. I like. They're going to change the skin of a gun. There's only so much they can do. To think that they're going to do anything that's actually going to change the game, they've already said it can't be done. Wake up, Matty.
until there's real true reason to have extreme concern about that, I'm not doing on that front. But the one thing I would say is Bethesda, clock's ticking. You got modders that are kind of abandoning your project to go work on like older IP, Fallout.
They have not abandoned it because there's no modding support. A good modder can still make a mod. Just takes a little bit more time. They've abandoned it because the game is trash.
Elder Scrolls, and you need to draw them to your new product because they're going to push you forward just like they've pushed you forward for Fallout, like they pushed you forward for Elder Scrolls. Like, you kind of need to be on that. So I have to say, I thought the modding kit
You're drunk,
would
man.
be out
You're
by
drunk.
this point in time. It's disappointing to see that's not the case. But more than anything, you look at some of the
I'm
features
disappointed
in
you
this
thought
new
it would be out by now.
photo mode.
Are you an
new
idiot?
Expressions and poses on the player and companions in photo mode. Scanner, this is a solid one. You can open doors and harvest with the scanner open. So you don't got to put it away, interact, but not like a real big deal, right? Other options here. Setting course on an inactive quest will now make it active. Added support for adjusting FOV when using third-person ship view. Added a quality slider on PC. Removed the digipick cost for using undo during the security minigame. Added an autosave when fast traveling from a planet's surface to orbit. It's crazy that actually wasn't in the game in the first place. And updated the ship UI. to
None of the
perform
stuff
more
they
smoothly
promised to people.
at higher frame rates. Again, look, if this was Bethesda on their own, I'd be like, all right, fine, let them cook. But you look at some of these updates and I'm going, guys, you have Xbox at your back. Like, people were expecting a pretty big push after Starfield came out. I'm just leveling at this point, man. Like, there was a much larger expectation for post-launch support. So the question is, what's going on? Where is it?
There really wasn't, except for from the diehards who aren't paying attention. Most of the people realized Bethesda is crooked and they're incompetent and you're not getting what they tell you you're getting. That was obvious when they released the game after what they said about the game, and it was completely different. If you continue to eat what Bethesda serves to you, you're going to get sick and die.
When's it going to happen? I don't think Bethesda's abandoned anything for what it's worth. And that's why I said this video could eventually age like milk. But what I will say is I believe, if I were to wager a guess, what is the plan for Bethesda right now? I think modding will come out within the next month. It has to. It has to sooner rather than later. It's already pretty urgent.
And we'll do next to nothing.
When you get into the
2-month bump and then die.
I do think Bethesda may be sitting on their bigger updates and additions. Why is that? I do think back to that wave of criticism that slammed them outside the release of Starfield, right? I mean, it wasn't just a couple of people. If you search Starfield on YouTube, I'm sure all you will find is extremely critical videos of the game.
Rightly
Any
so.
recommended Starfield video to me has not been positive, okay? And that's just the honest truth of the matter. People had a lot of hopes for Starfield, and in many cases on a critical level, it did not deliver to people.
That is absolutely true. There was high expectation, honestly, after Fallout 76 and Redfall. And don't forget, Redfall is a Bethesda product. Please do not lie and say it's not, which so many people love to do. After Fallout 76 and Redfall, even going back to friggin' Fallout 4, you can go back to how many times have they sold people Skyrim. If you have not yet figured out that Bethesda is a past studio who are living only on their past glories and cannot put out anything current, anything, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't put out anything that competes with stuff coming out now, quite honestly. They don't have the technological know-how. They plain old don't. They've even said it just works about their own games. They don't even understand how their own games work, which is why they can't fix them. If you think it's any different with Starfield, you're crazy. So yes, there was high expectations, but it was mainly from people who weren't paying attention or who blindly wanted to believe that Bethesda was just going to get it right this time. Nope.
And even if I enjoyed it a lot, I get where people are coming from, and you need to address those people. So if you're Bethesda, do you piecemeal those updates? Do you gradually roll them out? Or do you wait when people are looking at your game again and not just covering it on like a basis I may be doing?
So you're thinking Bethesda actually has all the updates ready, but they're just holding on to them. They're keeping them for later. Okay, if that was true, do you think that's a good business decision? Really? Second of all, do you honestly think that's true? 100% no way. No way.
When people are looking at your game again and say, hey, a lot of this stuff has just been added to the game. What do I mean by that? We know Shattered Space is coming this year. At the end of year update for Starfield, they confirmed at the bottom of the blog post that Starfield is coming at the end of 2024. Okay, great. So you got to show that off sooner rather than later. I think it's a pretty safe bet, since Xbox has already confirmed their summer showcase, that Starfield's Shattered Space expansion will reveal itself here. What would be a good way to get...
So they're going to do an expansion to a terrible friggin' game. You're going to get a terrible friggin' expansion because it's going to use the same base core mechanics that the game does, which are terrible. I'm not excited about that. Why would anybody be excited about that?
Get people into the Starfield mood and say, hey, look at all the things we've done thus far. Tell them, hey, this big update, it dropped right now, and it's free, and it adds X, Y, and Z. Right now, again, you go back to this end-of-year update, and they mention things like the city maps. They mention new features like new ways to travel, new gameplay options. And I don't know if all of this is going to hit at once, right? This is kind of their plan for what I think is the year. So I don't think all of this is going to hit at once. But what if...
So what you're telling me is their plan is 15 months after the game comes out, have maps. Can we please just nominate Bethesda for worst gaming company ever? You know Mytona, the guys who put out The Day Before? They're better than Bethesda at this point. At least you people know what they are. People can't figure out with Bethesda. They just keep buying the lies. I don't get it. And Mr. Matty, you came into this video basically saying, you're usually a glass half full guy, But you are going to take a little bit more of a deep dive into what is taking so long, Bethesda, and then you explained it away. You explained to the viewers, and how you knew this, I don't know, but you explained to them what Bethesda is thinking in not giving these updates. And you explained why it's okay, people, don't worry about it. So basically, you just went out and shilled for Bethesda. You're not a glass half full guy. You're a glass overflowing with Todd Howard at this point. I don't get it. You could call me a negative guy on Bethesda and Starfield, but with good reason. And I think I'm just a realist. I think I see things as they are, and I'm not afraid to say it. But these other people who just keep hoping. It doesn't do you any good when all the facts fly right in the face of that, people. So, shocking, this Starfield video turned out being pretty negative by me. I know. But, I think when you tune into a Starfield video here on Miss Valley Entertainment News, you pretty much know what Dread's bringing. You know what Dread's going to say. You tune in anyways. So I'm guessing a lot of people agree with me, or at least find my take entertaining. And in the end, it's entertainment and it's news. It's entertainment news. That's what we're here doing. So again, if you want to see the last 4 minutes and 28 seconds of Mr. Matty drinking the Todd Howard Kool-Aid, yet trying to say he's being critical while he's not, and trying to convince you all why Starfield is still fine. Yes. Would you like to have paranoid delusions? I don't know if they're paranoid or not, but they're definitely delusions. Would you like to maybe take some mushrooms and expand your mind into rotting nothingness with Todd Howard? Listen to the rest of Mr. Matty Plays video. I'm being a little facetious here, but I mean, the people who go to bat for this game and this company just they make me shake my head, people. I just don't get it. How people can be so utterly stupid. Honestly, stupid. You deserve to have your money taken by Bethesda over and over and over and over and over again. You deserve it, Mr. Matty and others, although Mr. Matty probably never spends any money at Bethesda. He probably gets free products. But people who listen to him and take his advice spend their hard-earned money. And that pisses me off. People from Miss Valley Entertainment News, we've been taking a look at the sad state of Starfield, which apparently to Mr. Matty wasn't really a sad state at all. It was I had a momentarily, but then I explained what Bethesda's thinking to you all, so you're all going to be fine with it. So really, he's not drinking the Kool-Aid. He's passing the Kool-Aid out to everyone else. For Miss Valley Entertainment News, my name is Dread. Thanks for viewing, everybody. We'll see you all later.